Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and municipal news, and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. Your hosts, Emily Springstrow of Oshkosh Media and Assistant City Manager, John Fitzpatrick.
And welcome to City Manager's Report, your source for all of the latest and greatest things that are happening right here in the city of Oshkosh, as well as a preview of some of the highlights of the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda. I'm your host, Emily Springstrow, joined by our Assistant City Manager, John Fitzpatrick. So, John, thanks for joining us today, subbing in for Mark today.
Thank you, Emily. Thanks for having me.
It's always great to have you kind of change things up a little bit, right?
That's right.
So we're going to go ahead and dive into our hot topics for the first half of today's show, kind of go over some current events and news happening here in Oshkosh. We'll take a little break, and then we will return with some highlights for the Common Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, May 14th, 2019. So with that, John, first thing that we want to talk about here is some of the budget listening sessions that have been taking place in Oshkosh. It's been kind of a busy month here. We've had, on the 15th, we had Hints and Fyan at City Hall, talking about some more of the, local affecting budget talks, I guess you could say.
Well, I think they had some listening sessions. I think they come periodically, but I think they had a pretty good turnout. I know people appreciate the opportunity to just convey their thoughts, at least just talk and see what's going on, and we're happy to host that.
Right. And then as you can see here, we had our governor at the Senior Center. Governor Evers was there on the 23rd, and he also had a similar style budget listening session there. It's really great to be able to keep connected, keep our citizens connected with our government elected officials.
It is, and every governor has their own style. I think Governor Evers' style is a little more participative in terms of providing opportunity for dialogue. So we appreciate that, and we especially like the fact that he took time to talk at the Senior Center. So
definitely a great chance to showcase our wonderful government buildings as well. So,
yes.
And those, we were out there, obviously got a few highlights, but I believe we did have the Hints Fyan one recorded. So check out our YouTube page or our website for footage of that. Moving down our list, the Arbor Day Ceremony was last week, and that was on May 1st, and we celebrated Arbor Day, and this is an annual event every year here in Oshkosh. It's organized by our city Parks Department and Forester, Bill Sturm, and it's just a celebration of Arbor Day, and they plant a tree dedicated. This year it was at Oaklawn Elementary. It
was, and we're fortunate to have Bill. He's done tremendous things with forestry, and I think he's a well-respected staff person, not only inside the city but also outside the city, and it's great for us to partner with the school district so we can provide opportunities like this and to give people an appreciation of the importance of the urban forest and trees in general. So we appreciate that opportunity as well, and I know Bill does a great job.
And as you can see, they're running through all of the different designations of Oshkosh too. So Oshkosh is considered a tree city, I believe.
Right.
And I don't know all of the, all the rules and regulations that makes a city a tree city, but you definitely have to have a certain number of trees per, square mile or something like that. And Oshkosh excels in that. It's just wonderful.
Right. I think Oshkosh citizens take great pride. I know. Sadly, when we had some storm events in the past, we lost some of our largest trees, but the citizens stepped up and donated quite a bit of money and established a fund at the foundation so we could kind of relief and tree back up to the standards that they expect, and I think it's something that's always going to be a priority here for the community.
Yes, so another great Arbor Day celebration was had this year. Moving down our list, we want to make sure that we're touching on this very important topic that has been unraveling over the last month or two here, and that's the utility billing transition. Now, any customer who is on the utility should have received their transitional bill as we change from a quarterly billing schedule to a monthly billing schedule. So
Right.
that was a major transition.
Right, I think you said it well. I think it's just unfolding in regard to a process whereby we were billing on a quarterly basis,
Yep.
and now we're transitioning to a monthly basis. There's a few bills in between there where people are paying a catch-up amount.
Right.
And I know just recently, I think the last category of people received that bill. But going forward, it should be a lot easier for citizens. They'll be on a monthly bill basis. It might be a little easier to manage the costs associated with those. And also, going forward, we're going to introduce other options to make it easier too for, like for example, electronic billing.
Definitely, yes. So of course we appreciate the customer's patience and understanding. And if you have any questions about your transition bill or about your upcoming monthly schedule, definitely give the Utility Accounting Department Division a call. They are happy to help and extremely helpful in that aspect. And so like you said, John, the first official monthly bill should be sent out in May. And then, of course, we've got other fun updates that are going to be taking place software-wise that will affect, email billing, digital payment,
Right.
And overall just management of your account.
Right, and it's not like we aren't excited and we don't want to talk about those things, but we think just focusing on where we're at this particular point in time so we don't create any confusion with anyone is the best way.
Yes, it's definitely a big change and a good change overall, we hope
Right.
so.
Yes.
Moving down our list, something that is also very exciting, John, is the Lakeshore Park Master Plan process has officially begun. The kickoff was this week's Park Advisory Board meeting.
Yes.
So very exciting.
Very exciting. We have multiple opportunities for people to participate in the process, and we hope they take their opportunity seriously and participate as much as they can or they feel they want to.
Yes.
It's a great moment in time where I think people have a unique window into the design and potential future construction of what the citizens would like to see there. So,
Yes.
I'd encourage them to, if they have the opportunity, to take time to provide us their ideas.
Definitely. And at this Parks meeting that happened earlier this week, the city has hired a consulting firm to
Yes.
handle this, and
Right.
they're named Smith Group. So they were introduced at the meeting and kind of went over some of the plans that they have, and that included the schedule. So there's going to be a lot of meetings. I think they go through October, so it's not by no means going to be any sort of rushed process or anything like that. But the schedule will include a lot of meetings. First of all, this kickoff meeting that happened this week. Next week, we're going to be releasing a POCO online questionnaire survey to gauge the public's, their concerns, some of the things that they would like to see in the Lakeshore Park. And then following that, there's going to be public visioning meetings, joint meetings, additional park advisory board meetings. All of those are public meetings, and any citizen is welcome to attend those to give their input.
Right, and they can provide their comments anytime. They don't have to just provide them at those meetings. They certainly can provide them to us. They can provide them to the park staff at any time, certainly too.
Yes.
But we are happily taking ideas.
As many people will be using the Lakeshore Park, and so we want to get as much input as possible.
Right. I would say too, we're very fortunate to be able to be working with the Smith Group. Because this was a unique circumstance, we took a look at a variety of different firms, and they've helped some communities with some substantial projects in the past. They've worked most recently with the city of Madison. I know they work with the city of Chicago. They've got some very unique portfolio, and I think they're going to bring a lot of unique ideas to collaborate with the ideas that citizens bring forward. So, we're looking forward to seeing what might come of this collaboration.
Definitely. So make sure you keep tabs on our social media accounts as well as the city website. We'll be sending out media releases for all these meetings and everything, and making sure that the public is fully aware of all of the things that are going to be happening in this process. So last thing that we want to mention here, John, is that we want to promote the Menominee Park Zoo has now opened. It opened
That's
on May
right.
4th this last weekend, and they're now open for business. So we want to encourage people to get out there and visit.
And it's my understanding it's supposed to be nice this weekend, so we're
is.
having a little trouble still during the week with some rain and cold weather, but hopefully we're going to get that behind us, and maybe moving forward after this weekend, it's going to be nice. So.
A lot of excitement to get out there and enjoy Menominee Park and all of our parks, really. But
Absolutely.
with the zoo opening, we want to make sure people are also aware that there's going to be some construction coming up in a few weeks.
Right. There is going to be some construction that starts later this month, and it might be good to get out there a little sooner so you don't have to deal with some of those construction issues. But we encourage people to access the zoo all summer.
Yes.
And, we'll try to establish a process whereby the construction is not going to interfere with the safety, certainly, of people that want to access the zoo. So.
Right. And it will remain open. The zoo and the park will remain open throughout the Hazel Street construction. So, again, just kind of keep an eye on our social media accounts, because we'll be posting maps and things to kind of help people navigate that construction and still be able to utilize these awesome resources that we have here in Oshkosh. So, I'm very excited that Menominee Park Zoo is open, and we encourage everybody to get out there and enjoy it. So that's going to do it for this first half of City Manager's Report. We're going to take a really quick break here, and when we come back, we will take a look at some of the highlights of the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda. We'll be right back.
Do you ever wonder if you have enough working smoke alarms in your house? Well, the Oshkosh Fire Department has a program to make sure that you do. The program is called Project Safe, and that's smoke alarms for everyone. And what that does is we will come into your house, we will check to make sure you have working smoke alarms on every level of your home. That is the bare minimum. You should have one on every single level of your home, including the basement. And if you do not, we will install them for you free of charge. Or if you have detectors and just not working batteries, we will also replace the batteries free of charge. The detectors we use to replace yours are these detectors right here. They have a 10-year battery, and that means that these will work for 10 years. That is considered a disposable smoke detector, because smoke detectors last about 10 years. So if yours are older than 10 years, you should pitch them and get some new ones as well. Give me a call at 236-5249, and we can make an appointment, and I will come in and make sure that you have the right amount of detectors, that they are working, and if not, I'll replace them for you right there on the spot. It doesn't take much time. It's about a 15-minute deal. We're in, we're out. Just remember that working smoke detectors are your best chance of saving a life in a fire. Your family's safety is in your hands. Take the time, give us a call, and once a month, test your alarm, make sure that it's working, and stay safe.
Welcome back to City Manager's Report. Thanks again for joining us. Before we get into the City Council meeting agenda highlights, we wanted to just kind of piggyback off of that public service announcement with the Oshkosh Fire Department and just kind of give a shout out for them. They've had a very busy month here. The last few weeks, Oshkosh has had a rough go of it.
Right. In regard to some fires, we've been fortunate. We haven't had any fires recently, but I think people that have lived in the community long enough know that we have a long history of fires in the city of Oshkosh, and I think for the most part the citizens are cognizant of that and they're very careful. But I think the public service announcement was a good reminder that it's important for people to just be aware, check their smoke detectors on a regular basis. If they have any questions, they can call us at any time. We're here to help them, and not only their smoke detectors, but be aware of other unsafe conditions that might contribute to the possibility of a fire. Definitely. Whether it be electrical or just some things that they might ordinarily not think about, like in the summertime, just rags or gas in the garage, and just things like that ramp up a little bit more frequently in the summertime. So being safe, I think, is the best way to go, and it's not only for yourself, but it's for your neighbors too.
Yes, and we are so grateful for our fabulous fire department as well, taking care of those. I think we had 2 just recently in the last couple of weeks. Right,
and not only, I guess, structurally, but also I know people are anxious in the springtime when they're doing raking and they think they want to try to burn inside the city, leaves. But if some of that gets carried away, with the density of our of a lot of our structures, it can really create some problems. So we're just encouraging folks to be safe and be careful. And if they have any concerns at any time, please give us a call.
Definitely. So with that, we're going to go ahead and dive into the Common Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, May 14th, 2019. And John, the first one, it's a big one on this agenda, is presentation by council candidates. And this is when the council will be appointing an individual to fill that vacant council seat. So tell us a little bit about what that process looks like.
Sure. It doesn't happen very often. I can recall the last time that it took place, but and I know that City Manager Roloff has talked about this at previous meetings. So really what's taking place here is Councilmember Palmieri is now the new mayor. So there's a process prescribed that has been established by council in the past for us to fill her vacant position. So what has happened is we've talked about it on social media and also shared on our website that we're asking people that are interested in helping out and filling that vacant council seat on this temporary basis to submit an application, and they'll be taking a look at those folks who submitted at the next council meeting. The materials also need to be submitted with the application. I think they're asking for a resume and a cover letter. And they'll take some time and talk to the council members, the potential council members, about what is expected. I think they've done that a little bit already, but then also ask them some questions about why they're interested, why they think that they could contribute to this important role, and what's really motivating their interest in this position.
It really is like an interview process. They give a brief presentation, and then the council can come back with questions and answers to that individual.
It is, and I think, although it's a political process and not necessarily a human resource process, I think some of the principles do apply. And I think as we work on human resource management activities all the time, I think consistently with this process too, I think the council members are going to try to determine who the best fit for this is going to be.
Definitely.
And when we make decisions about hiring people for other positions with the city, we use that same sort of methodology. And we appreciate people participating in this process, expressing their interest. Unfortunately, there can only be one person that's elected. But so far, I think we've had some pretty good interest expressed, and I'm confident that the council members are going to be able to select someone that's going to fit well moving forward.
Yes, and we will meet that person at this next council
meeting.
We will,
and as a matter of fact, that council member will be seated right at the meeting and participate after that selection process takes place.
Putting them right to work.
Absolutely, right.
Wonderful. Well, moving down under consent agenda, moving on from that item, we've got the approval for the CIP Amendment and award bid for Public Works contract to, 1920 to Wood Sewer and Excavating for storm sewer laterals at various locations. This is almost $600,000. So tell us, kind of give us a little bit of background on this one.
Right. These are just various storm sewer laterals and different things that may be that may have been required either because the citizen requested an analysis or because an analysis took place as a result of some sort of construction project. But all of these are citizen request focused. That's my understanding.
Excellent. And then moving down a few items, actually 4 of them right after that are some change orders and amendments for some different things. So we're going to run right through them. First one being the Marion Road Water Tower replacement. So tell us what's changing with that.
Sure. I think all 4 of these are, it looks like Public Works contracts. So the first one is related to the Marion Road Water Tower replacement. That just took place recently. I think people, if they haven't had a chance to see it, I think it's pretty cool. It's a big change from the other water tower, and it provides more capacity for us and some other technical components. But when the water tower was placed, there was more concrete removal than was originally anticipated. So that's why there's an additional cost for that item.
Okay, excellent. And then right after that, we've got the Sawyer Creek Watershed Stormwater Management Plan update. So tell us what's changing with that one.
Sure. Folks may have heard City Manager Roloff or Community Development Director Davis talk in previous meetings about how FEMA has updated the floodplain maps for our area. So when FEMA takes a look at that, takes a look at historically how some of that flooding has taken place, it kind of creates a domino effect of it changes some insurance coverages for people, but also these floodplain updates have required us to take a look at our stormwater management plan, and that's really why this change order has taken place. There's more work than was anticipated due to the floodplain updates that FEMA made.
Excellent. So that's the reason behind this
Right.
this amendment here.
Yes.
Moving down, our third one that we wanted to discuss that has to do with the concrete sidewalks for new and rehabbed ones.
Right, and I think people are familiar with our concrete program that takes, our sidewalk concrete program that takes place every year. We take a look at some of the areas that are in disrepair, that break over time or fail because of tree roots or whatever the circumstances are. And so those are marked, the projects are established, we talk to the community about what things are going to be replaced. But then sometimes that's done in advance, and then because of the severe winter I think we had some more squares that actually were damaged than originally anticipated. So that's really what this is. There are more squares that needed to be repaired than we originally documented.
So things have changed since they were, I guess you could say, quoted in the
Right,
fall.
right.
So rough winter for those sidewalks.
Yeah.
And then the last change order we have is the Aviation Business Park water main loop. Take us through what that looks like.
Sure. There were some extra fittings that were required, and for what people may not know is we're working on trying to get that Aviation Business Park up and running. We're still hoping that there's some things that the county may do to help assist us to get that fully operational, because we have some people that are interested in locating there. But that can't take place unless we have utility service out there. So this is these are some of the things that need to take place for the utilities to be finalized in that area, extra fittings, and so people can have access to those utilities in the Aviation Business Park. So that's what these are.
Excellent. Positive change, really.
Yes.
Wonderful. So that wraps up the four change orders and amendments that we wanted to discuss. Let's move on down the consent agenda, John, and take a look at the next one. That is the approving amendments to the 2019 operations budget for a few different things. Two of them are relating to donations. And the
Right.
first one here is Memorial Tree Program for $4,000.
Right. We talked about Arbor Day in the first half of the meeting, and the fact that the community really has a passion for our urban forest, and that's really carries over to the Memorial Tree Program. It's an opportunity for people to dedicate trees specifically for individuals. So that's really what that program is for. There's been some money that's donated for that. And then the second item, fire safety ballistic protection, that's something that maybe people may not be familiar with. I know we
usually
talked about that.
associate a bulletproof vest with the fire department
You
necessarily.
don't usually do that, but we've been looking at this for quite some time. When Chief Franz was here, and also now that Chief Stanley is here, our police and fire departments work in tandem more and more. And occasionally they're in very difficult and dangerous situations, just like the police officers are. So we want to make sure that they're safe, and we want to make sure that they can get to the citizens and respond to them in a timely manner, because every second counts really when EMS is involved. So what this really is designed to do is to provide that same sort of safety that police have in regard to body armor and also helmets, so they can make sure that when they're responding in a situation that might be dangerous to people that might be injured, that they aren't injured themselves, so they can execute their jobs safely and proficiently.
Definitely. Something that's really an interesting item you don't often hear about, so
Right,
we're
and-
excited to have that.
And it was a substantial contribution, so we really appreciate that support from the community.
Definitely. Moving down our list, we've got a special event that we need to approve some amendments to, and that is the Oshkosh Zoological Society to utilize Opera House Square for the Into the Night events. 2 different events, one on May 23rd and one on September 19th.
Right. Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. It's an opportunity to get out and support the Oshkosh Zoological Society, and it's my understanding there's going to be some animals that are going to be present there.
There just might be some animals there.
So we can't say anything more.
Among other things like food and entertainment.
That's right.
And, that kind of thing.
But we hope that people turn out, and I think it'll be fun for the whole family.
Yes, definitely. And it looks like focusing on the arts too. And so, of course, the Oshkosh Zoological Society, we talked about the Menominee Park Zoo, how much support is needed for that. And so definitely check that out. Go to Facebook. I'm sure there's information on there as well, and you'll hear about it. But once again, May 23rd and September 19th.
Right.
So, John, last item that we want to discuss here on the show today is a new resolution, and that's the approval of the General Development Plan for multi-use developments. This is located at Marion Road redevelopment sites, and that's H, I, and J.
Right.
So I guess for the average, citizen, tell us about this and where it's located.
Sure. These are really some of the last parcels that need to be redeveloped in the Marion Road district. And for folks that have lived here for a long time, some of the landmarks that I can point to would be the Lamico factory. For old timers, the Triangle Tavern was there for the longest time. But I think for people that have also lived here a long time, they know that area fell into disrepair and was in disrepair for probably 20 years. But now we've worked diligently on reclaiming the waterfront, and Community Development Director Kinney and now Davis and their staff have been working really hard to try to bring these dreams to a reality. And we're fortunate to have a company merge that's interested in developing this area and really spending $30 million on 3 parcels that are going to be developed in that area. It's going to be multi-use. There are going to be opportunities for different sorts of studio and also larger apartment options for folks. There's going to be commercial I believe on the first floor. There's been dialogue with these developers about the potential for a market in that area. I know that would be wonderful. I think we kind of characterize it as what we call a food desert for staff when we look at a planning circumstance. But we've, I think, achieved a lot of success by having people move down into that central city because it's important to make it a vibrant area. But people can't live there and fully appreciate what it means to live downtown without the support of, for example, a grocery store or a marketplace. So this development is very, very exciting.
Wonderful, and the renderings look beautiful. So we look forward to some great conversation on that during the council meeting with more detail as well. But yeah, thank you for the update on that.
Right,
sure.
I think the group that made the presentation to the council did an excellent job. They researched the community very thoroughly. They've built a lot of features into this development that are, Oshkosh centric. Even to the detail of some of the stonework, and so it was very impressive. I think they did a very good job. They did the homework, and I think they want to be successful here. They've done some other developments, specifically in Iowa, and are moving into Wisconsin. But I think targeted Oshkosh because of the size of our community, because of the proximity of the university, also the water features. I think we were a priority for them. So we're seeing that more and more from developers, and that's very encouraging.
It's very encouraging, yes, all very positive stuff. So excited about that, and excited about the amount of things that we have to talk about here today at the next Common Council meeting.
Right.
So we are out of time for City Manager's report today. So Assistant City Manager Fitzpatrick, I'd like to thank you for filling in today.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. So again, the Common Council meeting is this Tuesday, May 14th. It's at 6 p.m. You can watch it live on GovTV and on our website, oshkoshmedia.org, or you can listen to it on 101.9 Oshkosh FM, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for mobile devices. Make sure you like Oshkosh Media on Facebook or follow us on Twitter for all of your community and government programming or updates. And be sure to check out our YouTube channel for government meeting replays and past episodes of some of your favorite programs. And as always, don't forget, if you have a question for City Manager Mark Roloff, send it to us on Twitter, post it to our Facebook page, or go ahead and email it to us, and he'll answer it on the next episode of CMR. So once again, we'd like to thank you for joining us on City Manager's Report, and we'll see you next time.